All right, so good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Drink Podcast of Joy on this beautiful Saturday morning. It's almost noon here in the LA area, Long Beach, California. How are you, my dear friend? Talking today about it's time to let God handle it. It's time to let God handle it. So this week, I've had some great news take place. Nothing personal per se, but just projects that I've been working on that I've been in some ways kind of worried about. Are they going to happen? Is the money going to be there? And then just by the grace of God, they are taking place. And a lot of the hard work of last year is finally beginning to pay off. And then even today, I had someone who came by and was doing some work here at the house. And normally, I would be stressing out about this particular project and thinking of, how am I going to do it? And when am I going to find the time? And can I even do this? Blah, blah. That's some fencing stuff. And then this friend of mine came by, and in just like 2 minutes, he's like, oh, yeah, boom, boom, boom. I'll do this. I'll do that. And he's going to take care of it. It's pretty much done. And here's the lesson. Sometimes you have to let God take care of things. You know what I'm talking about? You know, Matthew 6 says, why do you worry? And yet that's exactly what we do, right? What do you mean, why do we worry? What else am I supposed to do? That's all I know how to do, is to worry and to stress and to wonder and to think that it's never going to happen unless I do something about it, right? Am I the only one that lives this way? It's a sad way to live, right? Not trusting God, thinking that it's all on you. And yet for this bigger project that's not here at the house, there's no way I could have done anything about that. It's just too many things. It's just too expensive, too many things. You know, there are just some things that you and I just can't do. Maybe it's something dealing with your body, with your health, in your marriage. Maybe it's something with your kids. There are just some things that you have to say, Lord, there's no way I can do this. Kind of like Jesus at Gethsemane, you know, we come to the end of ourselves and we have to now trust in our Heavenly Father. Is there something in your life that you need to trust over to God? Is it something as simple as a home project, or is it something bigger, maybe like the wellness of your family? No matter what it is, big or small, there are things you have to let God take care of. Let God handle your pain. Let God take care of the rest. You've already done everything you can. You've already stressed and planned and worked hard and try to do the best that you can at work or in your home or in your body. And there's only so much we can do. You can't control people's reactions to you. You can't control how your friends or your family are going to respond to you. You can't control your teachers at school. You can't control your boss. There's only so much we can do. Eventually, you and I need to learn to let God take care of the rest. Just like today, just like this week. It's so amazing to see some of the pictures of the stuff that is being fixed, and I'm thinking, wow, God did that. God used other people to take care of these things that are such a burden on my heart. I remember having a friend years ago tell me that his greatest prayer for his children was that they would have coaches that would invest into them. And I didn't grow up with playing sports or with coaches, meaning like a basketball coach, but he did. And now that I have pretty much adult teens, and now as they do have great teachers or mentors or friends besides us, meaning Rochelle and I am so thankful for those mentors. And it's the same thing for you and me. We, even though we're adults, we need to learn how to let other people take care of things. You can't do it all. You can't fix, as they say, you can't fix stupid, first of all. And then, like another saying says, you can't fix the world. You can't do it all yourself, right? You have to eventually trust that God is going to take care of some things. There are some things that you cannot do on your own, right? There are some things that you're going to have to say, Lord, only you can take care of this. There's no way that I can do this. There's no way that I can handle everything on my list. There's no way that I can take care of my body and my wife and my kids and my finances and my job and traffic. And there's no way. Everything has a limit. Even you. I know you're a superhero. I know you and we're all amazing at everything. But even though it says, even if the young, it says, grow weary, imagine the rest of us, right? But those that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They will rise up with wings as eagles. Now, is waiting easy? Of course not. This project, as I was saying, has been, my fence has been leaning for a while, and I called a bunch of people, and it was too expensive, or this or that. And then finally today, the right person came, and it's going to be taken care of. You have to sometimes wait for the right moment to come in your life to fix whatever situation you're dealing with. What's the point? Matthew 6 says it clearly. What's the point of stressing and getting anxious and worrying and planning and thinking? And what's the point of that? Matthew 6 says clearly, don't you know that your heavenly Father already knows these things, and he is taking care of it? He's working behind the scenes even now to take care of whatever problem you're facing. What is your responsibility? What is our responsibility? Is to wait. It doesn't mean, sometimes people say, well, what do you mean wait? Like sit around and watch the game? No, of course not. There's nothing wrong with watching the game, especially today, right? But what I mean is, if you're like most of us, you're already doing everything you can. We're talking about that extra 10%. You do 90%, let God do 10%. Which then, of course, that 10% becomes 100%. Know what I'm talking about? You do 90%. You do what you can. Obviously, we're supposed to go and labor and work and do all that stuff. But then that 10% that you can control, that you're angry about, that you're complaining to your boss about, or to your friends, or to online, you're complaining online about all that extra 10% that's causing you headaches and migraines, and you're getting sick because of worrying about this thing. That's the 10% to give over to God. That's the part that you say, God, it's out of my hands. I have to trust you. I know that you got it. I know that you know what I need. I know that you're going to handle it way better than I could ever handle it. And then when you do trust and surrender, now what does that feel like when you surrender even that 10%? It feels horrible. It feels like hell on earth, right? You don't want to surrender. I didn't want to give up, quote unquote, give up my fence, meaning have somebody fix it. I fix everything. You know how we are, right? We fix everything. But this particular fence, and I fixed all of my fences. I do it all. But this one, I also had, a month ago or so, I had this one faucet that I've been trying to fix. You know how faucets are, right? And all these plumbing stuff around the house. It'd taken me months to get the right part, and they sent me, all the usual stuff, right? I finally called my friend, who's a plumber, retired plumber, who's an amazing man, who loves me and loves God, and he said, dude, man, I can come over tomorrow and do it for you. And I'm like, no, man, I got it. You know how we are, right? No. And I was toast trying to get this thing to work. I had tried everything. I'm Mr., wannabe handyman, right? Like we all are. He came over 2-3 hours later. It was all done. That's exactly how God is. Sometimes you're saying, no, I got it, God. I got my health. I got my kids. I got my money. I can do it all myself. I won't tell anybody. I'll just be, macho man. I'll be a superhero. Come on, dude. You got to admit to God at least that you don't have it all. That you don't have it all, and that he can have it all. You know that song, You Can Have It All, Lord. Beautiful song. God, you can have it all. You can take care of my kids and my finances and my health and my future. You got it. I don't have it. I got 90%. Sometimes it's more like 2%, right? Sometimes it's 0% that we have, meaning that's under our control. We think we're in control of our lives, but really we're not. We think we're in charge of everything, but really, I think it's our ego, at least for us men. I think it's just human nature, but our ego doesn't want to let go. I hated having anybody look at my fence. I'm like, come on, I fixed all my fences, blah, blah. But my neighbor, who's a little older than me, and he's saying, Trig, I don't think I can do this with you, because normally we'll fix things together or whatever. If the guys come over to fix a fence or something, you know how we are. I'll pitch in and do something and help out. But he's like, I can't do that, man. Can you call someone? So I called a few friends. But even him saying I can't do it, it kind of got me thinking, why am I stressing over that fence? And that's how we are sometimes, right? You're stressing over your job, over your future, over what you're going to do tomorrow and what's going to happen. Or maybe you're the opposite. You're like, I don't even worry about anything. And that's a great thing. But perhaps in your the fear of missing out, your FOMO as they call it, maybe you're so hyper and so full of joy, which is great, but maybe you're letting go of some responsibilities. Maybe you are on the opposite end of things. Maybe you do need to look at that fence and actually call somebody. And maybe it's not a fence. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's something spiritual, physical, mental. Maybe it's something in your relationships. Maybe it's just your time management. Maybe it's just your career goals. I don't know exactly what you might be facing or you want to accomplish, but maybe it's something that's more practical, or maybe more personal, or maybe something that's more real. Every time that I get thinking about, obviously, we have 3 teens that are all in college pretty much, and it's easy to worry about, oh man, paying for that, or even beyond that, really. I don't really worry about money. God has always been faithful, but if I worry, I don't really worry much, but when I worry, it's more, are they going to figure this out, this game of life? And even that is so silly, right? I mean, of course they are. And that's the same way you need to be. Whatever your situation is that you're thinking, oh man, can I trust God in this area? Can I trust God with the finances of my parents and my kids and how it's all going to work out? I meet so many young people these days. I work with a lot of young people, and their worries are through the roof. They worry about things at a high level. I mean, a lot of 20-year-olds already feel like their lives are over because they're too old at 20. And I don't laugh as in, oh, that's so dumb. No, I laugh because it's so true, because of the kind of pressures that they feel, especially because of Instagram and all the rest of what other things 20-year-olds are doing. And it's not just like going to the right school. It's about how much money they're making, or how much fame they have, or how many opportunities they're getting. It's that kind of pressure. And, young people, they want to do the same things all of us do, help our parents and get married and buy a car and have a normal life, right? And yet they don't always know how to balance it all, how to do it. And so it's the same thing that I tell young people is you need to wait on the Lord. Trust God. I tell that to our children. I tell that to my church. I tell that to all the young people that I counsel, that I advise. Whatever they need, that's the same advice. And that's true for all of us, is to wait on God, wait on the Lord. It's like this fence. I mean, it's such a silly example, but it represents so much sometimes for us. Instead of thinking about it, because today, Saturday, I've been thinking, man, who am I going to call? And finally, I think it was Thursday, I called this one friend who I didn't want to call. You know how it is, right? With God, you're like, I don't want to talk to God about this. Right? And that's how I was with my friend. This friend, he loves me to death. You know how those people are that just care for you so much. And I've been saying, I mean, I hadn't told him anything about the fence, but he's always like, hey, whatever you need. I'm like, oh, sure. That's how we are with God, right? God's like, whatever you need. And we're like, oh, okay, I got it. I got it, God, right? And then I finally called him Thursday, or maybe it was yesterday. I said, hey, can you come over and look at this stupid fence of mine? I'm so sick and tired of it. And I've called everybody else, and they all want to charge me an arm and a leg and blah, blah. Not only did he come over and in like 5 minutes told me that he'd do it for like half the price, but it was just great to see him. And it was great to rely, quote unquote, rely on him. And that's the way it is with God. When you finally call upon God for that thing that you need, you feel so happy, right? He came in and he had his, how these guys are, his tape measure, and he's got his boots on, and he closes all the gates because of the dogs. And I mean, we have one dog, but he has, I guess, more than one dog. So he's aware of all the house stuff, and he's just one of those guys, right? He knows what he's doing. That's how God is. He knows what he's doing in your life. Call upon him. What's his number? 1-800, I need God. Call upon him for that one thing. Maybe it's two things. Maybe it's three things. Or maybe it's not God. Maybe you got to call a friend. Maybe you have to call a doctor. Maybe you have to call your kids. Maybe it's something you have to call someone in your life. Because, God sometimes says, hey, stop talking to me, go and talk to that person, right? It's not just us that we need to figure out. It's not just God that we need to call upon. We need to sometimes call upon some friends and some family to say, hey, I need some help. Hello, guys. Welcome, by the way. Thanks so much for being here, Ray and Robert. Pleasure to see you guys. Talking about how sometimes you got to call. You got to call upon God. You can't just keep calling upon your strength. You can't just rely on your own strength. You have to eventually say, God, I need you. And as I was saying, I think our ego sometimes gets in the way. We say, I'm not going to call nobody. It's like when we're driving, right? And we're like, I'm not going to call anybody. I'm not going to admit that I'm lost. But when you finally call, so here's my question. What do you need to call upon God for? What do you need to talk to God about? What's the area? What's that one decision? What's that one problem with your family, with your significant other, if you're a younger person, maybe it's with a teacher, a professor, a parent. What's the thing? What's the area that you need to talk to God about? Say, Lord, I haven't really talked to you about this thing. I've been trying to just be the handyman of my life. I need to call an expert. Someone with a tape measure, with the boots that closes the gates, that will take care of me. Because there are some things you got to just let God take care of. You know how it feels to have someone take care of things? Actually, honestly, it feels bad, right? I don't like it when someone takes care of things that I should do. As I said, it's our ego. We often fight our own ego. We feel, especially I think as guys, like we just want to be young forever, right? And I no longer get on top of the house and do all the Christmas lights. When I was in my 20s and 30s, I'd get up there. Now, man, forget it, man. First, I want to be watching the game. And second, hey, $20 for some kid. Hey, it works for everybody, right? Win-win. Same thing goes with you and God. There's some things that you need to let God take care of. You need to say, you know what, I think I'll let God take care of this one. So thanks so much, guys. If you're watching me anywhere, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope, on Twitch, thank you for being here. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. If you would like to hear the audio version of my show, the podcast, just simply go to davidtree.com/podcast or go to YouTube or anywhere on Google Play or the Apple iPhone and just type in my name and you'll find my podcast there so you can listen to it every day and stay connected. Thanks so much. I will see you next time.